I want to welcome Ted Cruz to the program. Senator, how are you, sir?
Mark, I'm doing terrific, and let me be the first to say I'll do everything I can to fix your phone line.
Well, you'll be about as effective as I am, I think.
I'm told that if you hold up a coat hanger and some tinfoil, that it gets better reception.
Yeah, I try that. I started broadcasting that way, you know. Senator Cruz, first of all, I watched...
By the way, your younger listeners have no idea what we're talking about.
No, of course not. That's okay.
They've never actually seen a television antenna.
You know, Senator, I watched these hearings on Brett Kavanaugh, and I've seen some horrible hearings. This is like a low. You have a United States senator violating, or at least trying to violate, the Senate rules and the committee rules, demanding that he be held in some form of be held responsible for it because he's running for president.
Yep.
Have you seen this before?
I haven't. It is political theater. And in many ways, you can view it as sort of the ultimate extension of Robert Bork's hearing 30 years ago. But now we've gotten to the point where the nomination is every Democratic member of the committee had announced they were voting no on Brett Kavanaugh before the hearing started. So there was no mystery, no surprise. And it also became abundantly clear not a single one of them had any questions about his qualifications. They all agreed he was fully qualified. And most of them had no substantive critique of his actual decade-plus service as a federal appellate judge. Instead, they spent their time attacking Donald Trump, which they devoted a lot of time to. And also, it was remarkable to see the Senate Democrats apparently coordinating with protesters who one after the other would scream and yell and disrupt the proceedings. We had 70 people arrested the first day of the hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And what the day we started the hearings, one of my colleagues, Senator John Kennedy, said, there have been these reports that there was a conference call of all the Democratic senators on the committee along with these protest groups, and this was a deliberate strategy. Is that true? And he looked over at the Democrats. And Dick Durbin, Democrat from Illinois, he responded. He said, yeah, we had a conference call. And he didn't dispute for a moment that this was all just play acting, where I think they recognize rightly they don't have the votes to defeat Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh is going to be confirmed. And so because their base is so angry, so filled with rage, that I guess they thought it would impress them to have lots of people screaming and yelling and disrupting. And that ultimately, I guess it reached its final culmination in Cory Booker's I am Spartacus moment.
Which he's not, but that actually didn't end well for Spartacus last time I checked. Now, Senator, let me ask you this question. I mean, have we now reached a point, because as you watch these hearings, that if a nominee doesn't agree to the entire policy and political agenda of the left, then they are therefore unqualified to serve on the Supreme Court? I think I was hearing that.
In many ways, this is the result of what we've seen over the last 50 years, which is as the court has gotten more and more politicized, as the justices have said, we're going to resolve every public policy issue in the land. Well, if Supreme Court justices behave like politicians, we shouldn't be surprised to see the political process treating them like politicians. That's a lot of what's playing out, where for the Democrats, they don't really care whether Brett Kavanaugh is qualified or not. They don't care that he's one of the most respected federal appellate judges. They wouldn't care if he was drawing with crayons on manila paper. Mm-hmm. What they care is will he swear on a blood oath to vote the right way in the important flashpoint issues. And it's because for modern Democrats, the Supreme Court is the super legislature. They can't win at the ballot box. The American people don't agree with their substantive policy positions. So instead, the left wants 5 unelected lawyers in robes to decree victories, and so they view these nominations as essentially all-out war.
Now, Senator Cruz, a lot is being said about your campaign in Texas. Now, my audience wants to lend a hand. My audience wants you reelected. My audience wants you back in the United States Senate. As a matter of fact, when you launched your primary challenge originally, leading to the United States Senate, it was launched right here when it came to radio. and we get inquiries about this. What can you tell us about the race, and what can you tell us about the people in Texas and the people all over the country? What can they do?
Well, the race in Texas, we've got a real fight. It is already the most expensive Senate race in the country. And my opponent, Congressman Beto O'Rourke, is running hard left, like Bernie Sanders. He wants higher taxes, higher regulations, socialized medicine. He says he's open to abolishing ICE. He has the most anti-Israel record of any Democratic Senate nominee in the country. And he is the only Democratic Senate nominee to come out explicitly for impeaching Donald Trump. And he has said he would vote yes today to impeach Trump. And despite the fact, Mark, that he is running to the left of Bernie Sanders, to the left of Elizabeth Warren, he is the number one Democratic fundraiser in the country. And he's out raising our campaign more than 2-to-1, nearly 3-to-1. Last quarter, we raised $4.6 million. He raised in the same quarter $10.4 million. So we are getting outspent dramatically. Now, I still believe we're going to win, but we've got a fight where we're facing what's going to be tens of millions of dollars of money flooding in from liberals all over the country, and they are up on TV. We are not. They have yard signs everywhere because they've spent $4 million in yard signs that we don't have. And so we've got to fight. And in Texas, the good news is in Texas, there are a lot more conservatives than liberals. What we have to do is turn conservatives out. So you asked, what can your listeners do? There are three things we need, which are votes, money, and message. On votes, anyone in Texas, make sure you come out and vote. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your loved ones. If you have friends in Texas, pick up the phone, send them an email, send them a text, make sure they vote. On the money front, we're getting massively outraised as Hollywood liberals and liberals all over the country. If Democrats could defeat one Republican in the country on the ballot in 2018, it would be me, and they are flooding this race with cash. So what I would urge everyone, go to our website. It's tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. Make a contribution. If you're in Texas, go to tedcruz.org and order a yard sign. Put a yard sign out front. And then the third is message. Speak out. Use our voice to speak out for why freedom matters, why we should end sanctuary cities, why we need to secure the border, why we should confirm strong constitutionalists for the court. This is a battle, and there is a country with a starker difference between the two candidates in this Senate race in Texas.
TedCruz.org is where I'm hoping millions of you will go and make a donation. So a lot of money is pouring into Texas from outside of Texas, and I guess you're getting a lot of PAC money being spent by these various left-wing groups. Is that correct as well?
Well, for example, J Street PAC, which, as you know, is virulently anti-Israel, is bundling money for Beto O'Rourke. They've raised over $185,000 for it. And look, I'll give an example. You and I both care passionately about Israel and America's friendship and alliance. In 2014, when Hamas was raining rockets down on Israel, Beto O'Rourke was one of eight members of the House of Representatives to vote against funding Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. Virtually every Republican in Congress voted yes. Virtually every Democrat voted yes. Nancy Pelosi voted yes. Maxine Waters voted yes. But Beto O'Rourke voted no. And that is why you're seeing the hard left money rushing in. We're seeing right now, he and I are having a big dispute right now over protesting, NFL players protesting. Beto O'Rourke is all in with Colin Kaepernick. He's all in with NFL protesters. He was asked at a town hall by a veteran. A man stood up and said, listen, I'm a veteran. My family has a lot of veterans. We're offended when we see wealthy NFL players dropping to their knees, refusing to stand, protesting during the flag. Do you think it's disrespectful? And Beto O'Rourke responded, no, he didn't think it's disrespectful. And he went on to say, he said, he couldn't think of anything more American than taking a knee and protesting during the national anthem. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is a radical view, and here's what happened. That video went viral. Hollywood liberals loved it. Ellen DeGeneres retweeted it. Kevin Bacon retweeted it. They went crazy over it in Hollywood, and so actually he was on the Ellen Show this week just being praised.
Well, the better news is you're on the Mark Levin Show, and we're going to talk to the audience now. and we're going to give you a helping hand, Ted. Good luck to you. Keep at it. We'll be right back.